the third part of this lesson was no solution problems. So in these problems, you do not get an answer, and rather it actually be called empty set problems. So what happens is there is no solution to the equation. There's not an answer. It can't be worked. So let's look at number 12 right off the bat. We have the absolute value of 5x minus 4 equals negative 6. Now, there's nothing for us to do. There's nothing outside the parentheses, outside the absolute values. So there's nothing to move first. So we just have an absolute value equal to a negative number. Now, normally we would take this and we'd split it into the two equations. But we can't do that because if you take a closer look, you'll see that we have an absolute value equal to a negative number. And like I said in an earlier video, absolute values make things positive. So everything inside this absolute value will come out as a positive. When we take the absolute value, it will become positive. So there's no way it can equal a negative 6. So what we call this is empty set, because a set is more than one answer, and these are supposed to have two answers, and empty because there's not one. And we show this by using a circle with a line through it. So empty set. Now let's look at 16 over here. Now on 16, we have an absolute value equal to 4, but we have a 5 and a 3 outside the absolute value. So we have to deal with those first before we can see what type of problem this is. So let's deal with the things on the outside. So we got to move the 3 and the 5. Now we move the 3 first. So we subtract 3 over, because the 3 was positive. We get negative 5, absolute value of 2d minus 3 equals, and then 4 minus 3 would be 1. Then, to move the negative 5, you divide by negative 5. And we get the absolute value of 2d minus 3 equals negative 1/5. Now that we've moved everything outside the absolute values, now we can take a look at it. We have the absolute value of 2d minus 3 equals negative 1/5. So again, you have an absolute value equal to a negative number. So there's no way this can work. Again, it's called empty set, or just a 0 with a line through it. So in conclusion, anytime you have an absolute value equal to a negative number, it's an empty set. You can't work it. It's impossible because absolute values need to be positive. So that is no solution problems. Next up, we'll look at one solution problems.